Yes. What's up, everyone? Welcome. I'm just waiting for people to start coming on. It is Friday, so I am here. I have a very interesting show to do, so I'm just waiting for people to come on because they wanted this show to happen. I do have a guest tonight. I have Wendy Wilson Spooner returning. As you can see in the corner up there on the screen, she is the author of Once Upon an Irish Summer. There's my sister. Hello. I spoke with Wendy a couple weeks back, and she not only is she an author, but she's also a genealogist. So that is why I'm going to be talking with her again. So it is going to be a good show, I think. I hope it's going to be a good show. So it's going to be a good show. It's Wendy. Hello. Diane Pate. Welcome, Diane Pate. It's nice to see you once again. You're here for a very good show. Yes, it's a very good show. It has to do with me. So I'm just waiting for Wendy. I think she's going over my results one last time before she will pop on. So yeah, welcome. It's Friday. The weekend is here. So let's tilt back up. There we go. Chris, welcome, Chris. Everyone's here tonight. I'll shut that. That way we don't hear the TV and this chair. Oh, I'm replacing this chair. You hear it, Ashley? This is my chair. It's time for a new chair. It's horrible. But anyways, welcome, everyone. I'm just waiting for my grandmother. My aunt is supposed to be coming on. A lot of people asked for Wendy to come back on. It was my idea to have her come back on because she is going to be going over my results for my Ancestry DNA. So when Wendy Wilson was on, we talked about her book, which is right there in the corner, like I said. Once Upon an Irish Summer, which is a very good book. I highly recommend that you grab the book to read. She also told me that she is a genealogist and she also helps with people who do their DNA testing on sites such as Ancestry.com, which I use, Ancestry.com. So I am having fun with Ancestry.com. I've gotten pretty far. It's pretty exhausting, to say the least. If you are wanting to do something like this, you have to dedicate some time. It does take time. And what you see on the commercials with leaves popping up with information regarding that certain someone in your family tree, it is true. They do pop up. That is how you connect with other people. If they have the same person in their tree, you make a connection. So with the DNA being done, so I did not only the DNA of where I come from, I also did the DNA for the health stuff as well that she's going to be talking about. So I'm putting everything out on the table so everybody knows everything about me. So it's nothing personal, or I'm not worried about people knowing stuff about me. So I gave her permission prior to the show. She has been looking over my results. I shared that information with her because she knows more about it than I do. So I am just going to change the lighting in here because I don't like it. Oh, I don't like that either. Let's try it. No, I don't like that either. All right, let's go with blue. Whatever. We could go with Christmas, though. Christmas seems to be whatever. Oh, Jesus. Wendy Wilson Spooner. Oh, all these lights. There we go. Hello. I shine. I have a glow to me. I look normal. Okay, so I just make it worse. So we're just gonna fix it back to where it was. All right, there we are. So I'm waiting for Wendy to come on. So welcome, everyone. Is that coffee? Oh, that's a very large mug. Nope, it's a regular size coffee cup. One of my many Disney coffee mugs that I use. I don't know if people pay attention to the cups that I use, but so yeah. So anyways, I'm very excited to do the show. But anyways, as I was saying, I've gotten pretty far with the family tree. And like I said, you have to take time in either to do it. What time do we have? Because I know that Daniel's show is on after this, so I want to make sure that my show is done on time. So Alexa, please set a timer. Alexa, set a timer for 45 minutes.
Timer for how long?
45 minutes.
45 minutes, starting now.
All right. So I don't know, people can't really tell, but I do have one of those smart clocks in my I don't see, as you can see up there, Mickey, up on the wall there. It's got the red. That's a timer, believe it or not. So it's pretty cool. All right. Anyways, how's everyone doing? How did everyone enjoy the show last night? Let me know what you guys thought of the show last night. I spoke with the Crockpot lady, Stephanie O'Day, which I thought was absolutely fantastic and informational because I have never used a Crockpot before. I didn't have to buy one, so if she's watching somewhere, Stephanie, I did not have to buy a Crockpot. I already have one downstairs in the kitchen. I have purchased one of her books, 5 ingredients or less for the slow cooker. So I have that recipe book. So I think the plan is to try her recipes in the Crockpot, film it, and show you the end result afterwards, obviously. So yeah, it was a good show last night. So, I apologize, my Aunt Steph. I forgot that you have the Amazon Echo as well. So yeah, Heather, I have to show you something. So I know I must be the only one that really uses the Amazon Echo. So, and I wanted to show you this. If I can get it. If I can get it out. Hold on, people. What's happening here? Oh, I see what I did. Oh, jeez. Anyways, I'll do it this way. I gotta move my whatever. See my little holder? It's the child from Star Wars. Isn't that cool? It holds my Echo, so from the Mandalorian. I thought that was pretty neat, so I bought that from Amazon. But anyways, yeah. So let's see. I'm just trying to catch up on get the oil can, Tin Man. Oh my God, Chris, this chair is awful. And you know what? I've only had it for not even a couple of months, maybe 4 or 5 months I've had this chair. It's a very nice chair. The problem is that I don't sit in it correctly. So I like to relax. I usually have my feet up on the desk. I'm usually reading my book or whatever. So now it's become squeaky. So I'm ordering a new chair. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Diane Pate, I'm going to put this up on the screen so everyone can see it. Diane Pate, last night's show was very informative. That it was. Like I said, I didn't know anything about cooking. I do now, and I really do want to use the Crockpot, and I want to show you guys how easy her recipes really are. So that way you guys can do the recipes. And don't forget, you can go to her website, which is stephanieoday.com. You sign up for the newsletter or the email list, and starting in Crocktober, you'll get a recipe every day emailed to you for you to use in your Crockpot, which I think is very nice. So yes, Chris, the wires were tangled, even though I did this today, but I forgot that I plugged it in. Yeah. So Wendy is not here just yet. She should be. I know that she's still looking over my results, so I'm patiently waiting for her to pop up any minute now. I don't believe I've received any emails from her stating that she had any trouble. I believe I hope I've already sent the link. I did send the link. So I think I'm pretty good. So we're going to move this down and we're going to go into my emails because I just want to make sure that the email link was sent to her. I just want to make sure. So let's see here. Wendy Wilson. Where are you, Wendy? Yes, she has the link. So she knows, hopefully, that it is time. So if I don't see her pop on by 8:15, I will send her an email letting her know that we are ready to go. Diane Payne. Oh, here's another one for you. After last night's show, I flipped over to her page and now I get the recipes. Good. And if you try any of those recipes, Diane, please let me know how you like them. Because I will be more than happy to let her know that viewers are trying her recipes and what they think. So please let me know. So, yeah. Please let me know. Oh, and another thing. Some bad news, folks. So normally when I was with the Brian and Sherry show, I was going on vacation in December because that's usually the end of November. This show is done. I usually would take the whole month of December off because everyone's busy in the month of December. You got Christmas, you got New Year's, you got Christmas Eve, and all the parties and everything else. So we always took the month of December off because I was always in Disney World for about 10 days every year. And what I usually did was I usually would go live while I was in Disney World every year, whether it was the Christmas parades, a ride, a fireworks show. Most of the people on here have seen everything that I've done live, and you can always go back. No, you can't. I deleted that page. Oops. Oh, well. But I need ideas because now I don't know what to do for Christmas. I won't be going. I don't know what to do. I won't be going until next year. So it kind of puts a damper on my plans here. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know. So, and don't forget, October's almost here, Halloween. And you know I love to do me some spooky things for my show. And because I'm by myself, I need some ideas. So get the ball rolling, roll around in your head, think about it for things to do. I'm getting a little nervous because she's not here. Another person I don't see is Daniel Payton, although he does have a show very soon. So, I don't know if I should email her back. There's Daniel Payton. So I'm going to put up his idea. So yes, don't forget. There she is. So I think it was before the end of October, Daniel, I think it was, that we're going to do the book cover reveal for the revamp of the Winter Wizard Chronicles. So everyone gets to see the new cover to this book, the one which I'm drawn on. So, but my face won't be on the cover of this book anymore, sadly, but I'm pretty sure that it'll be somewhere else. So I'm very happy to have people see the cover. So I like it very much. Daniel did show me the cover of this new book. So yeah. Daniel, I've been on the whole time, just not as chatty. Oh, I didn't see you come on. I apologize there, Daniel. So we're going to get right to it because I've waited long enough. She's here. She's ready. I'm assuming she's ready. Is she ready? Yes, she's ready. She's waving at me, so let's bring her on. It's nice to see you again.
Hi, Brian. I'm so happy to be with you again. This is exciting.
This is very exciting, although I don't have exciting news for you, though.
What does this mean?
I know. So I think it was at the beginning, before the show went live last time, we were talking about Disney and everything and how you're going and I was going, and we were supposed to hopefully meet. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
No. I have no words.
I am, yeah. I mean, I still have my reservation, but I'm just not going to go. So I'm going to try to see if I can move it to next year.
Yeah.
I'm very upset.
I am too, because life just isn't the same without Disney. It's just not.
No, it is not. So, all right. So besides that bad news, now on to the good stuff. So people have been asking when you were going to return, because apparently finding out my DNA information was very interesting to people and how it all works and what it all means. So right after I stopped the show with you, I went and bought the DNA kit.
That is
I
so
waited. Well, I started doing, like I told you, I started doing Ancestry. I have gotten so far. I've told people that with this whole, whether you use Ancestry or, another site, you have to have time committed to do this because, and I guess it just depends, because with my family, the leaves are all over the place and you have to click on all these leaves, make sure they're really connected. If they are, you add it to your tree, and it just goes on and on. I could spend hours doing this.
Yes,
So,
you could not sleep for a week if it was possible, or eat.
yeah.
And you could just be completely immersed in it.
Yeah, it does. I have to step away from it for a while. Like I'll do a couple of people, I'll get so far, and then it just keeps adding more and more people. So the DNA results came in, and which kind of shocked me a little bit. It's not what I was expecting. I didn't read everything only because I waited for you, because I didn't know what some of it all meant, like the medical terminology and stuff like that. If they, said something. The only one I do remember is that if I'm not already lactose intolerant, I will be later on in life. That's the only one that came up that I remember in my head. So let's dig into it. So what did you find out about me?
Okay, well, in our previous talk, you had said that you hoped you had some Scottish ancestry. And you have 18% listed in your ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
And 18% is significant. So how did you feel about that?
Surprised.
Yeah.
Surprised. Because I was expecting Irish and French to be the only two. Maybe one or two of like 1% of something else. But yeah, the Scotland kind of threw me through a loop. But I was excited about it.
You know what? You've got the whole red gene in your beard.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow and your Ireland ethnicity is at 9%. So this just doesn't surprise me, because you look Scottish and Irish to me.
Yeah.
And those are the second two ethnicities that are listed under your main one, which is very broad. You're 58% England and Northwestern Europe. That's very broad. So the first one that is broken down is Scotland. And that is really exciting. And then the next one is Ireland. And you said you were expecting France or French, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And that shows up at 2%.
Mm.
Was that surprising to you too?
Yes, only because I do have relatives, I guess, but this changes everything, because now I've learned that those fifth, sixth, great grandmother or grandfather were actually French Canadian. So they came down from Canada, not necessarily from France. I'm pretty sure at some point they came over from there.
Yes.
But my father has a French last name, but this is all based on my mother's side. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So French Canadians, that is also my husband's ancestry. So with French Canadians, you'll find a little bit of French in there, depending on how long ago they immigrated from France to usually Quebec. That's where a lot of French Canadians are. But having 2%, there was just a lot of intermarrying with other people once they immigrated. That's why it shows 2%. But 2% is still there. We're not looking at something that was like 0.2% that fell off when the algorithm changed. Like for me, I used to have 0.0, I think it was 3% North African. That no longer shows up on my ancestry ethnicity estimate. Because as more people test, those percentages are going to shift around and change. And I'm so sad that that no longer shows up.
Yeah.
But I'm also so glad I took a screenshot when it was there.
Right? Yeah.
So I can see how things have shifted. And the next time Ancestry updates their algorithm or how they are reporting their ethnicity, that's going to change for you again. So I just compared my previous ethnicity report on Ancestry to this newest one that they just reported. And previously, Scotland and Ireland were lumped together. And now they are broken down, which I like that so much more. And so I used to show, I think it was how much Scotland and Ireland combined. I think it was like 36% or something like that. And I love the breakdown better because my great-grandfather immigrated from Scotland, and the entire tree, for as far as it goes, is Scottish. There's not a single other country that comes into that line. So like you, Scotland is my second ethnicity that shows up because it's my second highest under the broad spectrum. So check your ethnicity often, and because you just took a DNA test, you're probably going to be looking at it all the time. And you may get a email from Ancestry one day that says, hey, we've updated your ethnicity report. Check out the new reportings for you. And you'll have a clue to say, oh, I'm going to go check it out. But take a screenshot of what you have now so that you can compare it later. As more people test, it's going to shift around a little bit.
Good advice.
Yeah. So something I've also seen in your ethnicity, which is so intriguing to me, is Benin and Togo, 1%. Did you look into that?
I did not look into anything. Not yet.
Okay.
Oh.
This is really, really cool. So Benin and Togo, you have 1%. This is what it says. For years, anthropologists and others looked at African ethnic groups as being mostly solitary and static. However, historians now know that huge empires and kingdoms with administrations and armies, diplomatic corps, and distant trading partners have long been part of Africa's fabric. This is especially true of West Africa. So somewhere in your family, you had family members that traveled to these regions, Benin and Togo. And this is how you are so lucky that you have this 1% African DNA showing up, Benin and Togo. Mine has fallen off. Like I said, it's such a tragedy to me. But that's really exciting. And then you've also got 1% Spain.
Yeah.
You have any idea where that comes from?
No.
On your tree. Isn't that intriguing?
Yes.
And then Germanic Europe, does that one surprise you? That one you have 7% ethnicity Germanic Europe.
Yeah, no. I'm yes, I was surprised when I saw it. I'm just like, this makes no sense. I'm like, but okay, all right. somewhere something happened. So, but the majority, I believe, was England, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
England and Northwestern Europe, they just kind of lumped it together. So 58%. How do you feel about that one?
That would surprise me even more because I was hoping that the bigger number would be Ireland, pretty much. I was hoping, but yeah, but it's still in there. It's all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was surprised. So, but it was pretty cool to see how they broke everything down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's exciting. So one of the things that you can explore is what's called additional communities. So you will see that listed underneath the breakdown of your ethnicity estimate. Have you had a chance to click on any of those?
I don't believe so.
So let's look at southwestern Quebec, since you got French Canadian, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you click on that, it is going to give you more information, and it's going to tell you where the region in which your ancestors settled, which they're bringing in Quebec and northern Vermont French settlers.
Yeah.
And southwestern Quebec, Vermont, and Massachusetts French settlers. And I don't know that a lot of people realize that Vermont and Massachusetts had a lot of French settlers pre-United States.
Mm-hmm.
That history is fascinating. And so you can click on all of these breakdowns that you have that are called additional communities, and it will give you a timeline that you can look through, starting in 1600s, 1700s, where you can get an idea of the immigration paths of your ancestors. And to dive even more deeply into it, you can then research history and find out why would these ancestors have left this country and gone to this country at that time. And it was usually because there was some major disturbance. Famine, war, something like that. Because people generally do not leave their homelands unless it's under dire circumstances like that in the previous centuries. Yeah. In our century, we are basically a global community. It's easy for us to travel, and we like to live in different countries just because we can. But back then, it was very different reasons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very expensive. There was only pretty much one way of, travel. So, something absolutely must have happened. So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. It's right on point because most of the ancestors that I have been finding and following and going back are either they came from Canada, they've resided in Vermont, then some of them were in Massachusetts, a lot of them were in Connecticut. That's pretty much where all of my DNA matches are currently residing, are those areas. So it's kind of right on. I was worried that it was going to give me false information, like this makes no sense to me, or I was going to question it, but I didn't. It was right on. So yeah.
That is fascinating. So let me ask you about your cousin matches. Do you recognize your two Godburn matches?
Okay, so I was having a conversation with my aunt about it. So technically, one of those is correct.
Okay.
So Brittany is, in fact, my cousin. That is my aunt's daughter, Jennifer, that's listed as well. But Jennifer is listed as a cousin instead of my aunt. So I know that sometimes it can happen, from what I've been told, where it could say it's a cousin when in fact it's someone different. So those two people, yes, I do know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So every single database, including Ancestry, they are literally going to call every person who isn't a very close relative. Like they'll say possible parent-child relative if you've got a massive amount of DNA. But after that, they're going to call everyone a cousin. And this is why. I'm hoping you can see this, okay? So I circled 4 relationships for you on this chart, and they all share the exact same amount of DNA that's going to show up for you. So grandparents, aunt, uncle, half-sibling, niece, and nephew, they are all going to show the exact same amount of DNA in the database. So that's where the research comes in, and that is where it is for you to figure out the relationship.
Yeah.
Isn't that just crazy?
Yes.
Same amount of DNA in 4 very different relationships.
Yeah.
But they just call them all cousins because a computer algorithm cannot figure that out for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's still good news, right?
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah.
Cousin. He's my aunt. But for them to pop up, I know that the DNA works because I know that they took the DNA test. So that's how we were matched up. But it told me that, I don't know, it told me I had 511,000 DNA matches.
That's so much fun ahead of you.
I don't even know if I have time to go through 511. So I've picked the closest ones to start with first, obviously. So I have had conversations with 2 people already. So, which was interesting. So
good. So did they message you or did you message them?
I messaged them.
Good for you. That's what it's about. Yeah.
But I did notice that there's really no one around my age, unfortunately. They are a little bit older. It does say 5th or 6th cousin. So they are a bit older. One is here in Massachusetts. The other one is in Connecticut. So it was very interesting to connect with them. So, but no one reached out to me, though. What's that?
What was that you said?
I said no one's really reached out to me, though. I was very surprised. I know it'll probably take time.
Yeah.
So because when they're doing their own tree, when you have the same person, I've noticed, you can, make the connection or whatever. So which is pretty cool. So
yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
If you're interested in one cousin in particular and communicating with them, you can always look on their profile. And it should show still when the last time that person logged in.
Yes.
So if that person's active and they haven't messaged you back, you might want to shoot them another message. But if they're not active very much on Ancestry, then you'll be like, they may never message you.
I noticed that a lot of them, especially those with pictures, with profile pictures, so I can see what they look like. The one woman from Connecticut, she doesn't have a picture, but that's all right. You can still see when they've read the message. It's like the iPhone. It says read, but she hasn't responded. So it's like, oh no. But for her, it does not tell me the last time she logged in.
Okay.
So some people it does, and that's what I was looking for the most, and how long they've been a member. So just to see. So yeah. So I'm learning.
Oh yeah, you're learning fast.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, like you are, you're going to learn very quickly. And one tip I just wanted to share right now is, and I can't remember if I shared it when we were talking before, but if there's a particular line, let's say you are researching one of your Scottish lines, right? And you come to a brick wall where you're not sure who the next ancestor is, no matter how far back in time it is. If you find a cousin match, as you look and look and look through them, who is living in that region that you are researching, thinking that you're going to find a relative in, you can contact that person. And like I have a 4th cousin in Scotland who lives in the area where my brick wall is. And so I can reach out to that cousin and say, hey, do you know this information? And if you don't, could you check these archives for me since you're right there? I mean, this is really valuable when you make connections with relatives who live in the region where you want to have the records reviewed.
Yeah. I want to go to these places because they're for me, they're within driving. Well, I mean, it's a long distance because a lot of what I did is I started with myself. I put my mother in there, and then I put my grandmother in there. And then it just took off from my grandmother's side. So most of her entire family is in the tree. So a lot of them are coming from Maine. So they came from Canada, they settled in Maine, then they went from Maine to, maybe Vermont, and then down further Massachusetts, Connecticut, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of them stayed in one central town or county. So, and it's funny because and I find it fascinating, Ancestry, you are a little bit expensive, but that's okay. But you pay for what you get. And when you're able to view the documents, the birth certificate, the death certificate, a newspaper clipping, anything, it's like, you learn so much more. So I want to go up there because they have house numbers. They have all sorts of information of what they did back then. Like, it's nice to see. So, and what they did for an occupation, and it's very interesting. So
it is. I went on an ancestral trip with my family to England in 2001, and all of my siblings and my parents and all of my sibling spouses, and we located the shoe shop that an ancestor worked in his entire life in Devonshire, in this town of Bubby Tracy. The shop was still there. It wasn't a shoe shop, but he was a cobbler. And it was just so fascinating to walk up to the door and think that that's where he spent his life. And you're standing right there where he stood. Those things are, I don't know if it's our DNA responding, but something physiologically happens to me and many people when I'm standing where my ancestors stood.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to take a couple of trips or so. So
very exciting.
It is very exciting. Like, I do check it every day, and then I find myself going back to the tree and doing a couple more leaves and finding out more, further information. So I'm almost to that 1700 time period of going back. So for some reason, this family is so large. And when you see like the census and you look at who was in the household, the list is just like kid after kid after kid after kid after kid, and like 9 kids.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I have so many 511,000 possible matches. So
9 kids all get married, and then they all have 9 kids.
Yeah, very large families. So, and then I found myself, because I noticed that one of my grandmothers, well, one of my relatives anyways, but closer to her, was, a spinner in a mill. So, and you could see on the census, the next door neighbor, the husband there, or the head of household, worked at the same place. So then you have to think to yourself, were they friends? Did they, did people? So it's very interesting. It really is interesting. So, yeah.
It brings them close to a different timeline where you can almost feel like you can sense what their lives were like.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I don't think I've ever asked you this, but doing what you do with helping with Ancestry and all the genealogist stuff or whatever, I did the health portion of it. Is that something that you also help people with? Is that something you talk about, or is that something that, you're going to have to figure that out on your own? Because there was a lot of that I personally didn't understand.
Yeah.
like when it came to the medical stuff. So
Yes.
I wasn't really sure about that. So
I talk about it sometimes. It's not my specialty. People that are interested in it, it's usually what they're reporting is what you're going to get. But there are a few extra things you can do. Like there's a website that's called Prometheus, and it's not like you can hang your hat on what they're showing you either, but it is very interesting. So I uploaded my raw DNA, and you can do this with your Ancestry DNA. You can download it and then upload the raw data to different sites, and where you can do different analyzations. So this website, Prometheus, will give you extra information. So what I wanted to know was, my father's father died of Alzheimer's. And as a little girl, I remember watching his decline. And I adored my grandfather. I would sit on his lap, he would sing me Scottish songs. I adored him. And then I had to watch him really decline and suffer. So my dad never developed Alzheimer's, and he died at the exact same age as his father. And I thought, okay, I want to know if I have the Alzheimer's gene, and I want to see what else is in there because my dad never developed it. So I uploaded to Prometheus, and what it showed me was that, yes, I have the Alzheimer's gene, but that I also had inherited these other genes that sort of neutralize it or cancel it out. So those are some of the things that you can find out, because just because you have a gene doesn't mean you're ever going to develop the disease for that gene if you have it. But it is also good information to have, especially if it can help you make better life choices according to how you're living or how you're treating your health.
Right. Absolutely. I remember you saying about, you could go to other sites, plug in this information, and see if there's a difference between, the two. I was thinking about it, but considering I have put so much time into that tree.
You need a break, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do it all over again, but I'm hoping for some sort of connection with someone. I'm not saying anything bad about the people that I have spoken with. However, it seems as if though it was, hi, I'm related to you. It's nice to meet you. I'm pretty sure we're connected some way. Let's see how we're connected. That was pretty much my message. Mm-hmm. So out of the 5 people that I messaged, I got 2 responses back. The gentleman from Plymouth, Massachusetts was very nice. Didn't really say how we were connected, but I could tell because it'll say the common person that's in your tree or your DNA match or whatnot. So he was very nice. I enjoyed talking with him, but that was pretty much it. I haven't heard really much of anything from him. And then, the woman from Connecticut, we made the connection. We figured out who, because she wanted to know which family are you talking about? That way I know who, so I gave her that information. She wanted to know where I lived and stuff like that. So I gave her that information, and then, she was thankful. It was nice talking to you.
Good.
And then it was just nothing. So I haven't heard from her in like 2 days. So I'm like, oh man. So I might try again with a couple more people. I got 511,000 to go. So.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And another tip for you is, as more people are testing that show up as a match to you, they're going to have a little blue dot by their name.
I've noticed.
Yeah. And then you'll say, oh, I'm going to message that person. And you just started your journey. Yeah. It's just the most fun you're going to have. And just know that it will just keep snowballing and morphing into more and interesting relationships and giving you an even better sense of who you are on this planet as you keep discovering who you came from and who you're tied to. And the history that followed all those people that they created and that they were on this earth.
It's interesting also because when it breaks it down for you, where you come from, it actually shows where they all migrated or where they went to. There's little dots on the map. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, it's true. Everything fits because you go down your family line, and when you learn of where they lived or where they were born, it matches with the DNA results. So it's true. So let's see. I know people are chit-chatting here, so I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. If anyone has any questions about any of this stuff, now is the time to ask. I've told people they need to do it if you have not done it already. It's something good to do, If you're not interested in doing the family tree, you can at least do your DNA to find out where you've been. So, yeah.
And this is a source that I will just point everybody to. Blaine Bettinger, he is a leader in the field of genetic genealogy. He is an incredible analyst. He has come up with so many tools and so many charts, and his blog is The Genetic Genealogist. This is where I got this chart. It's my favorite one. It's it'll just be a fantastic resource for you to look at. It'll just lead you in many different directions that you will find really fascinating.
I'll have to remember that.
So did you have any surprises at all as far as relatives? Like everybody that you believe is related to you biologically is correct? No surprises there.
Well, it's funny because I never really talked about family past my grandmother's parents. So I knew of them, but past them, their parents or their siblings or anything like that, I never really heard too much about it. So, I mean, I can ask my grandmother anything. I mean, we sat at the computer. She gave me all of her information, who, when, and then the leaves were starting to pop up. So we're both getting excited. We're going through, I'm allowing her to see all of the newspapers clippings and, death certificate or birth certificate or whatever it was at that point in time. So I'm like, all right, this is getting good. We're adding people. And I just kept working on it. And I think that's been, oh my God, 2 months, not even, that you were last here. So, I mean, I've worked on it quite a bit.
Wow.
So, it's exciting because every day you go in there, there's always a green leaf. There's always something for you to do in there. It's just kind of upsets me because you've exhausted all of the hints for that one person. So it's like, now I don't have enough information on this person. What am I supposed to do? So then I go to the next person that's connected to that person and see if more information pops up. And it does. That's always usually what happens. So the tree is just, it's ongoing. So I'm nowhere near finished, obviously. So I want to go back as far as I can.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Because really, that's a gift that you can leave for your family. Clearly, your grandmother is very interested in your family lines, it sounds like.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you're kind of carrying that on for her. 2 generations down, you're that guy. You're the one that's gonna put things together and leave that for the next generations.
Yeah, because I've noticed that in going through, because she would tell my aunt, well, I heard about this relative, or I heard that they didn't make it, the twins, or whatever. And it's true because it comes up with that person having children. Those 2 didn't make it. And it says it right there. So, all right, that's true. All right, so we know that this happened. Now we just got to keep going back, and it's all very interesting. It really is. So, yeah.
Have you come across any pictures on Ancestry that you've never seen before of your ancestors?
All of them. All of them.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because what's funny to me is that people actually, I didn't understand it at first because there are people that are on Ancestry that help make other people's trees. So the gentleman, when I put my mother's name in, associated with my grandmother, um, a leaf popped up, and it's like, okay, well, I know everyone around her that's related to her, so what could it possibly be? Well, somebody had a picture of my mother and the story of her, and then another was a newspaper article, and then there was a picture of her stone at the cemetery. So I'm like, well, how does this person fit into all of this? It was two different people. So when I messaged him and asked him, are you connected to me or are you, he goes, oh, well, it depends on what family tree. I help people gather information. Well, who did you gather the information for? Is what I wanted to know. I never got the answer. So my alarm's going to go off. Alexa, stop. Thank you. Okay. But anyways, so it's been, I was a little bit confused by that. So, because he said, oh, no, I don't think I'm related to you.
It's mostly good news that there are a lot of people working on every single tree, and it's a collaborative effort. And I have a couple ancestors that I am just dying for. One day somebody finds a box in their grandmother's attic and it's got pictures in it and they post them. Because I have no pictures of this particular set of great-grandparents of mine, and I have pictures for all the other sets of great-grandparents.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm waiting for that one connection that they're going to know all these stories, or, they're going to have those pictures when I physically meet them. Like, I want to meet someone. I really do. I think that would be awesome. But I think traveling, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Some research, go to these places.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very interesting. So yeah.
Well, Brian, I hope you share your adventures with us, because I'm highly interested when you start going to your ancestral sites.
Yeah, they're, like I said, they're not that far. One is in Plymouth. Maybe I'll meet him. He wants me to go to Plymouth because I've never really been to Plymouth. He says, but you're not just going to spend a day here. You would need a couple of days to see everything Plymouth has to offer. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, not right about now, but yeah, sure. But, he said anytime, but I don't think that he was meaning, we could meet up. He's an older gentleman, I know that, but he's very nice, and I wouldn't mind meeting him just to see what the connection is. And so maybe I should ask him, would you ever consider?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they would.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested more in getting into Maine, I think.
Maine?
That is where the tree is centrally localized. Oxford, Maine, county of Cumberland, or whatever it is. Yeah, that's where everyone is from. So it's interesting to find out.
Yeah.
The health part of it was also interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a couple of things. Like I said, some of it didn't really make sense to me, so I'm going to have to translate the terminology. It said, be careful, 2 cancers. But it would say the cancer name, and it's like, well, what is that? What does that mean,
Yeah. And everybody's going to have some kind of cancer in their DNA. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I'm going to have to share that, because I know that my grandmother's watching, I have my aunt, my sisters, everyone that's interested to see what happened with this, because it also affects them as well. So, yeah. So
it's a family journey.
What's that?
It's a journey for your whole family.
It pretty much is.
Yeah.
You want to learn as much as you can, because before you know it, you're not going to be able to get that information really anymore from the people that are actually here.
Exactly.
So,
you're so lucky your grandmother is still with you.
My grandparents, I am very lucky my grandparents are still around. So, yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. 100%. She knows I would do anything for her. Any of her grandkids would do anything for her. So, but me especially. I live kind of the closest. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that was my journey, and obviously it's not over. So, yeah. Is there any next steps for me? Do you recommend I do something next? Do I go to another site? Do I plug that DNA, like you said, into somewheres?
Well, you seem highly interested in the health report aspects. So
Mm,
go take a test at 23andMe as well, because they are the best database for health reports.
23 and me. I was thinking about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to expand even further, take a Y-DNA test over at Family Tree DNA.
Family tree.
Yes, Family Tree DNA. You can take a Y-DNA test, which will just trace you, your father, his father, father's father's fathers back in time. And that can give you an idea of breaks in your surname, as in, was there an event where the surname changed? It can show you things like that, which is very interesting.
That's another very interesting thing that you bring up, because I was talking to my aunt about it, and the family would say, well, this last name, this last name. But when you look at the entire tree, the name has changed so many because people are marrying, and you got, maiden names and everything else. So it's like, I've never heard that name before. Where did that come from? And then you have to find out where the person, oh, they married Smith and now they're a Smith now, but yet they were young, or it's very interesting. It really is. So
Yeah.
I will definitely have to look into those too. I was thinking of doing 23andMe, but I wasn't sure. If you're really into this thing, folks, I'm telling you, it doesn't really come too cheap for those who don't have. But if you want to do it, I'm telling you, just to do it, you won't regret it. So it's very interesting. I'm just glad that my results were not the results of a friend of mine that I told you about that was all Indian growing up, and come to find out she's nothing, not even close to being Cherokee or whatever. She said that she grew up thinking that she was and was told. So mine were spot on, I think. So
That's wonderful. Did you tell your friend to take a mitochondrial test at Family Tree DNA to see if you can detect?
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a while, so I wasn't able to let her know. She knows that I do the show and everything, but I wasn't able to give her that information just yet. So tomorrow, I believe, is when I see her. I'm going hiking tomorrow.
Nice.
of all things. Fall is here. The leaves are starting to change. They're yellow, they're orange. We have a frost warning. So, I mean, it's getting chilly at night now. So I want to get some walking in, before it's too late. So, but I will be letting her know that, you need to go to either 23andMe or the other one there, Family Tree DNA. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And as time goes on, we will as technology improves, who knows what's coming.
Yeah.
It's more exciting every year.
More exciting. So were you surprised? What did you think when you saw the results?
Well,
considering you don't really know me, so it's like,
I've had zero surprises.
Okay.
So in my family lines, it seems like every couple that had a child, it was their child. And that's pretty unique, because usually there's something that happens in someone's tree where they either adopt a neighbor's child if the parents die or something, and nobody knew that wasn't a biological child down the line, or there's other things that happen. We know people get together and that's not really both of those people's child. But I didn't have any events that my DNA revealed, but I did have an event that the shaky leaf tree hints did reveal on Ancestry, and that was that my grandmother, my father's mother, who I grew up very close to, her husband was my Scottish grandfather. this marriage record kept coming up for her, and she was married for a very short time before she married my grandfather, and this was in the 1920s. And when I went and dug out the original marriage certificate, which I went to the family history library in Salt Lake City to find it, she really did get married, and the witnesses were not her parents. It looked like an elopement. And then I think I found an annulment record. So yeah, she got swept off her feet. I researched this guy. He was just this dashing, handsome man. Who knows what happened, but they did not stay together. I just found it fascinating. She never told anybody. Nobody knew.
Very interesting. The things I'm waiting for surprises to happen along the way. So yeah, I'm looking out for stuff. So all right. So I guess my next step would be to try the 23andMe or you recommend I just do both?
Yeah, if you can, do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start with 23andMe. I've seen that they do run a lot of specials, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So I'll try that, and then we'll go from there. I'll let you know what happens.
All right, and I'm saluting your Mickey Mice that I can see behind you.
Maybe hanging up there. Yeah, my grandmother gave me that. So yeah.
Maybe one year we'll see each other at a Disney park.
I hope so.
No, we hope.
I hope so. But it did tell me on there that Wendy Wilson Spooner is not related to you through DNA or anything else. It says it right there at the top when I clicked on your name to invite you or whatever. I was like, oh, well, there goes that.
Darn it.
I know. All right. Well, Wendy, it was fantastic seeing you again and talking with you and going over all of this stuff. I will keep you in the loop on what happens with 23andMe and Family Tree, and maybe plan something else. Who knows? So,
all right.
It's
always great talking with you, Brian.
Yes. You have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. There you go. Hopefully you got what you wanted. Which I don't even know what that is. For my aunt, my grandmother, my sisters, I don't mind telling you what it says as far as the health stuff. I'm assuming that Wendy does not, talk about that. Maybe she just talks about, the other side of the DNA stuff of where you come from and stuff like that, and why and where and all that good stuff. So maybe the next show I can show you guys on camera, what the results were for the DNA stuff. I know I ran over once again. I'm sorry, Daniel, I'm coming. But this isn't over. This is a journey that's not over. So, if you're willing to take the journey with me, I'll let people know exactly what's been going on. But I do implore you to, if you have not done a DNA test, you should do a DNA test. It doesn't matter where you do it through, 23andMe or Ancestry or anything like that. You don't have to do a tree. You can just do the DNA part to either find out where you are. I paid a little bit more to get the health information, which is beneficial, I believe. And I'm glad that I did. So, yeah, that's about it. So thanks, everyone, for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I will see you all next Thursday. We do have a show Thursday. We do have a show on Friday. More cooking people are coming up. I'm very excited. Also, we're going into October, so I want you to think of stuff for October. What type of guests you would like for October? Do you want the paranormal thing again? Do you want I don't know. I don't know what you guys want. So fall stuff, whatever. Let me know in the comments. But other than that, I'm gonna go, and that's it. So good night, everyone. To my grandmother, my aunt, and Chris, and Dan, and my sisters. Everyone, have a fantastic night. And I will see you next Thursday. Goodbye.